You get a bull trap. You get a bull trap. You get a bull trap. If he buys it, dump it. We're going to talk about the possibility for a bull trap in the works. Everybody, you're watching the Stock Market Beef Show. If you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe and like to the channel. Today, Bullard was talking. He set the tone for Fed officials signaling hikes will roll on. If you take a look at the Fed watch tool, everybody, an 80% probability that we will be getting another 50 basis point rate hike. So we are continuing to raise rates, continuing the tightening. You can see this updated today and wabla. Now remember, when we are tightening, when we are raising rates, what does that do? It adds volatility into the overall market. So you can see that right here in the S&P 500 as we're seeing massive swings back and forth. And take a look here, the S&P 500 has been ripping up, but the balance sheet has been going down, which may be an early indication telling us that this can catch to the downside here soon. Now, we do have an event risk coming into tomorrow, and this is why I'm talking about the possibility for a bull trap to set the stage. November, option expirations right there on the 18th, so it's going to bring in some more volatility. We'll discuss more of the levels here momentarily. If we take a look at the zones, if you don't know what these are, well, subscribe to the channel and follow along. Their risk management tool, they gave us a good idea of, hey, things are overextended, red hot, red hot. Well, now look what a couple days do, right? This was on 11:15. Now we're coming into 11:18. Things have cooled off tremendously, moving these price of these assets back into the middle of their ranges. Now, I want to first and foremost thank you for all the support from my Patreon group. If you want to get more access to the zones, to my stock market indicators, which I have a bunch of permalinks to, weekly expected move trade ideas, watch this, all this stuff, okay? $9 a month. I don't charge a lot, okay? Or you can do annually. So thanks to all my ongoing patrons that continue to support me. Not only my Patreon supporting me, Interactive Brokers has been a huge support of this channel too as well. This is an award-winning platform. If you haven't checked them out, make sure to also check that link out. They have great educational resources, by the way. So if you haven't checked them out, make sure to go check out their podcast just by the link below. They have webinars, they have a Traders Ed Academy. Must go check that out. Let's take a look at the S&P 500 and talk about the potential for this bull trap. Well, price started out early on at the trading day towards that lower weekly expected move, but we started catching a bid. Going into tomorrow on the S&P 500, we're looking at a plus or minus $25 move for option expirations. Doesn't mean that we can't, exceed that. We've seen that type of price action before. Now, I want to talk about this here really quick too as well. We came into that middle band right there and we started bouncing. Now, the thing that I'm thinking about for, potential bull trap means that the price action would start moving back up and people would get, much more bullish again, saying, see, no, that was just a pullback and now we're heading to all-time highs. Okay, maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. But there are a couple indicators telling me that, hey, pump the brakes on that narrative. One being right here looking at premiums and discounts. So as you can see here, when you see a steep decline here in this specific line, if you're wondering what this is looking at implied volatility versus historic volatility. Okay, so when this comes down at a pretty rapid rate right here, and it comes into this red territory, which is below 0%, this move down perpetuates this type of big old rally, right? We've seen it right here, boom, and then we've seen it right here, boom, okay? But now what you see here is these times where it's in red coming out, this, when it starts coming out of it and goes into more of a premium, you can see that the market typically gets hit. So we're right back here at these key levels that we've seen prior times, and when it came outside and started ramping up, that's when we saw more market volatility come in and price start to come out. Okay, so that is one thing that I'm paying attention to. If we take a look at the SPY, and there's another key thing that I want to point out here, is the SPY, it broke down through this head and shoulders pattern, came down to around the weekly expected move, but didn't tag it. And then we started rallying back up to back test the neckline. Okay, now earlier on when this started sinking off, I started notifying my patrons saying, hey, be on the lookout for this potentially being a flag. And the reason why I thought this was because I was looking at some other key internals. And also, I knew that option expirations was obviously coming into tomorrow, which can bring on more volatility. So we started breaking out of that towards the end of the day. Now, a measured move of this flag would take us to around $398. Now, plus or minus $4 going into tomorrow's expected move, adding that to $394 would also be $398. So a flag breakout, you have an expected move over here. But what I found even more interesting is when you look at the order book, okay, this is using Bookmap software, you can see that earlier on today at the market open right before, a big order hit that $4,000 level, and it's been sitting there all day. So if this is going to continue to hang around there going into tomorrow, to me, that seems like, hey, they really do believe over here that this order is eventually going to get filled, whether that's tomorrow, the next Monday, I don't know, but it can potentially act as a magnet, meaning that price can drive itself right up to this area and get these orders filled. Now, that right there would probably bring in a lot of FOMO into the markets if we see a strong move into this area, which rightfully so, because it would be a strong move. However, as I previously stated in other episodes, we see these negative divergences building on BP charts. We're getting frothy too. If we take a look at zones, they cooled off, but I guarantee you that a move back up into here in a single day or come Monday, if it's right up into these ranges, we're going to start seeing a lot more red back on the board over here, opening the door for a potential good opportunity to start looking for shorts. So what did I do? Well, earlier in the trading day, I started covering some of my positions. This type of gap down right there was a nice big start of the day. I was already building into short position, so I took advantage of taking some profits off the table, and then intraday I was looking for more long shots to see if we can start moving up, and it was just a choppy day overall up until the very end right there. I think I caught one nice bull flag, and then I called it pretty much quits for the day. So that is kind of my take, my thesis here going into tomorrow's trading day, setting the stage for a possible bull trap, meaning that, hey, if price gets very frothy come tomorrow into this area, be on guard, be aware that, hey, we have a wall of liquidity right here, that if that's, we'll see what price action does up there, if it absorbs it or if it acts like a wall of resistance. And if it does get up there, how fast, because this can be right back into overextended territory. If you take a look at the NASDAQ summation index, this is starting to curl itself back over slightly, but it hasn't done so already. We had that negative divergence on the NASDAQ McClellan oscillator. We're waiting for the parabolic SAR to uptick from that. And if you take a look at the NYSE summation, which is a more broader index, it looks like it's about to get back up through that zero marker. We do have that negative divergence, as pointed out previously, on the NYSE McClellan oscillator right over there. But the summation index, we want to see this parabolic SAR uptick, boom, and we want to see this start curling back around to feel more confident that, hey, a trend is actually changing, which we've seen right here, and we called out right here when it took place, and you can see what the market did. It went down, and then went it back up. That's all I got for you on today's episode, everybody. Be prepared. The stage can be set for a bull trap. Don't have FOMO. Be tactical in this environment. That's all I got. See ya later.